The palace ballroom glowed like a sea of gold and white marble. Hundreds of candles shimmered in crystal chandeliers above, throwing rainbows onto polished floors. The air smelled of roses and wax, and winter air drifting in from open windows. Nobles moved like painted figures in a dream, their masks hiding secrets, their laughter brittle under the violin's tremor. Lady Seraphina stood at the top of the stairs for a heartbeat. Her gown of pale gold swept down in soft waves, embroidered with tiny emerald vines. Her blonde hair fell over her shoulders, glinting with pins shaped like crescent moons. A small emerald choker gleamed at her throat. In her gloved hand rested a folded letter sealed in black wax, a letter she had not dared to open until now. Her eyes found him instantly. Adrian stood near the balcony doors, dressed in a black tuxedo trimmed with silver, a velvet mask shadowing his dark eyes. He had grown taller, colder, more beautiful in the way of dangerous things. For a moment she couldn't breathe. She descended the stairs, weaving through the crowd. Her gown whispered over marble. She drew the letter from her pocket and broke the seal as she walked, glancing at its single line. "They will strike tonight." Her fingers trembled. She folded the letter and pressed it back into her glove. When she reached Adrian, he turned slightly, as though he had felt her coming. Without a word, he led her through the crowd to the balcony, the cool night air curling around them. Below, the city glittered under snow and moonlight. She leaned close, whispering, "Someone plans to kill you tonight." He looked at her, eyes unreadable behind the mask, then allowed the faintest smile to touch his lips. "Then they chose the wrong night," he murmured. "Stay close." For a heartbeat, they simply stood there, moonlight silvering his dark hair and her pale gown. Then he offered his arm. She placed her hand on it. Together, they returned to the ballroom. The music swelled again. Couples swirled around them, masks like butterflies, gowns like a painted storm. Adrian's arm slipped around her waist, his grip warm through silk. Her emerald earrings swung as they turned. As they danced, Seraphina felt the air change. A weight pressed at the back of her neck, the sense of being watched. Her eyes flicked toward the far edge of the room. A figure in a dark cloak stood there, mask blank and featureless, unmoving amid the whirl of color. "Don't look," Adrian murmured against her hair. 3 steps more. She forced herself to smile, to keep moving. The violins trembled. The masked figure slid closer, weaving through dancers with a predator's patience. Then steel flashed. The assassin lunged from behind, dagger slicing for Adrian's ribs. Seraphina spun, her jeweled fan snapping open to deflect the blade. Sparks leapt in the candlelight. Adrian's hand shot out, seizing the attacker's arm and twisting until the knife fell to the marble floor. Gasps and cries erupted around them. Masks slipped from pale faces. The assassin tore free, cloak ripping, and vanished into the crowd. "Come," Adrian hissed. He grabbed Seraphina's hand and pulled her through a side door as guards swarmed the dance floor. They ran down a corridor lined with old tapestries, their footsteps echoing. Her gown caught on rough stone. He tore it free without stopping. A bell began to toll somewhere in the palace. They burst into the winter garden. Moonlight washed over marble statues and frozen fountains. Roses heavy with frost perfumed the cold air. The palace loomed behind them, its windows blazing. Under an ancient oak, they finally stopped. Snow drifted between them, catching in her hair like tiny stars. Adrian's gloves were gone. His bare hands gripped hers. "You saved me," he said, voice low. "You're the only one who ever saw me," she whispered. He brushed a strand of hair from her cheek, eyes still dark with tension, but softening at the edges. For a heartbeat, the palace, the danger. The years between them all disappeared. In the silver stillness of the garden, they stood together, alive, the night holding its breath,